I have a quick lesson that I call circle and square. If you want to make a circle, one way is to find an object that's round. This is the lid for a coffee can. And you can just simply trace around it to form your circle. Works very well. Now, another way is more traditional, and that's to use a tool called a compass. And so the compass has a sharp point and it has a pencil point. And so if you put the sharp point down and adjust the span of the legs here, oops, but you do have to hold it down tight. Let me do that again. If the tip moves, you're going to have problems with it. So there, that makes a circle. So that's another way. So you can trace an object or you can use a compass. I'm going to show you another way, and that's to use a piece of string. So what I've done is I've made a loop of this in the string. I'll take a tack and put down at one side, and then I'll hold that down, and I can trace all the way around that using the string to control where the point of the pencil goes. And then I'll show you one more little trick. And this is with a piece of wood. And again, I have that little tack that I can put in there. And I've got a little hole drawn in the piece of wood right there. And I can draw around, swinging that same arc. I'm getting all my marks confused here, but I think you can get the idea that I've given you 4 different ways to make circles. One of them is the compass, one of them is just a piece of wood, another is a piece of string, and the other is an object that you think will be about the same size. The word square is a slightly more complicated subject. For example, we know that this is a square. It has 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of the sides is the same length, so each is equal. And then they all come together at what's called a 90-degree angle. And so that's basically what we think of as a square. That's a geometric shaped square. But there's also another meaning to the word square that involves a tool that you use to check to see if something has a 90-degree angle. And so these are some samples. This is called a combination square because you can use it for both 45-degree angles and 90-degree angles. And if you look at this square that I showed you before, you can see that this is the tool that you use to make sure that this is actually square. So these are some other squares. This is called a Carpenter Square, and it's used for all kinds of things if you're building a house. This is a smaller Carpenter Square like we use in the classroom at Clear Spring School. And this is called a speed square, and this is a tool that's used by a lot of carpenters. And not only can it measure something to see if the angle is square, it can also be used to measure a whole lot of other angles like these right here. Along this edge, it tells you the number of degrees. So that's a very common and very important carpenter's tool. One of the reasons why the square is so important is that when you're building something, for example, you're going to build a box, you'll need parts to come together just perfectly. For example, if these are 2 box parts, I want them to come together very cleanly and at the correct 90-degree angle, just like that. And so if things are not cut square, then I don't get the best results. So this is a kind of wood-bodied square that I make for our students at Clear Spring School, and I'm making some now for them to take home in their toolboxes. So you can see the way it's used is the body of the square slides tight against the wood, and as long as I hold it tight like that, wherever I draw my line, it will be at a 90-degree angle to the edge of the wood. I can use it on this side like this or like this, it doesn't matter. But when I hold it tight like that, I can make a line and it will be at 90 degrees. So as long as I hold the body tight. Now if I have it loose out like that, it's not going to be a 90-degree angle. Or if I hold it like that, it won't be a 90-degree angle. It has to be tight against the wood, and you can see how I can slide it, and I can make a series of marks if I want to. And each of them will be 90 degrees to the edge of the wood. So one of the great uses of the square is to check your work. Now, if I want to know if I've made a good square cut on there, I take the square and I can slide it down like that. And if it fits tight with no light coming through, then I know it's square. And so it's a good tool for checking your work, and it's a good tool also for doing quality work.